Morning folks, here's our daily meditation for Monday the 30th of March. My text this morning comes from the book of Ezra in chapter 1. It's actually verse 1. It says this: In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. How do you surmise that history works? I think this verse in the book of Ezra, along with many others, is monumentally important in putting together a biblical worldview of how the world actually turns. But first, a bit of background. As many of us know, the book of Ezra is the story of God's restoration of his people. It tells the story of Judah's return from the grips of judgment in Babylon to the rebuilding of Jerusalem. In this book we see something wonderful. We see a truly sovereign God whose hand is actively controlling the events of history for the good of his people. I should say here that this doesn't mean that the way is always easy for God's people. We often make that mistake of thinking that should be the case. But there is still much opposition detailed in this book. But despite all this, the Lord continues to lead, direct, and provide for them. I'm sure, like me, you are often tempted to evaluate history in a way other than it being under the providential hand of God. But this really isn't so. Here in this text, even the heart of a king, perhaps the most powerful person in the then world, was moved by God for his purposes, in order that his word through the prophet might be fulfilled. In our situations too, we have to remember that our Father God is in control. We can, as his people, even in our present situations, thank God that he is in control of history. From the smallest sparrow that falls to the earth, to the level of kings, presidents, rulers, powers, nations, and beyond. What an encouragement it is for us to continue to trust him in our particular circumstances, whatever they may be today. Let's commit to doing that again as we walk into another day together. God bless.